Found out I have a different birth mom and whole other family back in another country. I don't even know what to title this, and I am still processing. Please be patient. I, 18F, just found out yesterday, exactly 24 hours ago, that my mother who raised me used to be my nanny. She is still blood-related cousins, but she was hired by my birth mother and my American dad. There were basically two women and my birth mother competing for him. Ultimately, my mother that raised me, B, was the one who married my dad. She tried to harm herself multiple times, and my dad was afraid of his career being terminated if she actually succeeded. He would go to the Philippines for his business trips as a pilot. Everyone knew, including my dad's first marriage children, my older brother and sister. My cousins, who one of them was like a spy for my birth family, my aunts, uncles, grandparents. My dad was married young, just like me and my husband. His first wife was 18 and he was 19, living in rural America, and after 22 years he cheated with my birth mother. I don't know if she knew she was the woman thag-wrecked it because they were in the Philippines. At this time, it was 2003 to 2004. My dad was making an estimated 500-700K, depending per year in that time. B was brought there to help her cousin, birth mother, L, who was like a best friend to her. She was from the countryside with very poor conditions. She started having an affair with my dad. One time, he went to Singapore, and B started to ask for days off. When L called the hotel he was at, a woman who sounded like B answered. B was also a nanny to my older sister, who was L's first child. My dad accepted her as her own daughter, too. My dad was very strict, and he didn't allow her to work or have any contact with people. She didn't have a phone. They would text through email. When B was married to my dad, she wanted to go to the States, USA, and she said, "Why don't you take your daughter with you?" So there's no reason to stay here at this time. I was 1.5 years old. L flighted at court, but they threatened her, and my dad's money was thought to be used to bribe people. They also made false accusations about L hitting me. My apparent older sister, around 5 or 6 at this time, told me L was going to use the restroom and one of my aunts was to take care of me. When she came out, I had fell off the bed, and I had a scratch on my head. My aunt took a photo of the scratch and gave it to the court. She didn't have a job and had abuse allegations against her, so she lost me. Basically, B's entire family was able to visit or live in the States and Hong Kong and got much more money for a better quality of life back home. My whole life, she's L, been trying to contact me, begging my older siblings and my dad's siblings and my cousins from the Philippines to tell her about me. My aunts would post lots of photos of me, and she was using them in collages along with my 2 older sisters. My aunts and B would bully and threaten her about it. They constantly would change their profiles and accounts, which explains why they have so much. I was not allowed any social media growing up, and my dad thought I didn't have any. I was not allowed any friends or going outside besides school. When I moved out right after I turned 17, I started to have other social media, but I would constantly delete it and use a different name in fear of them finding out. Finally, I got a friend request from an account with my exact name, and I accepted thinking it was a funny coincidence. I saw that she had been trying to message me for almost half a month, and then when we started talking, she started sensing voice messages about the situation. She said she was too shaky to type. She was so hysterical and crying. She has baby photos of me, her and my dad while she's pregnant, stories about my childhood home, which B took over once she left, and lots of details from my childhood that I remembered. One time she secretly attended a family gathering where I was wearing a purple dress and rhinestone shoes, which I remember. She has my baptismal record and birth records and certificates. She was begging me to do a DNA test and asked B for one too. She told me exactly where to go on the Philippines government website to check if her records of me are real. It's honestly amazing the proof she has. My parents do not have baptismal, birth record, or OG birth certificate from the Philippines. They do not have any photos of me from before I was 2 or when B was pregnant either. My husband and I went over it after work, and he was convinced, so was I. Photos of me before 1.5 to 2 years old, my Filipino birth certificate, and any photos of me pregnant with me. So it all makes sense. They always told me they didn't care enough to keep them or they lost them. Their story always changed. To be clear, I still have lots of love for my parents, even though what they did was evil. I also have so much love and respect for my birth mother and sisters. I can't believe there was actually someone out there who wanted me. I still want to take care of them in their old age, and I will do the same with my birth mama and her family. Her dad, my grandpa, wants to meet me. Unfortunately, her mom passed away. B's dad, my beloved grandpa, just passed away recently, and I'm still heartbroken, so it is so hard to hear that. Broken Heart B never went back, and so I couldn't. Only Aunt did. My older sister was telling me our birth mother L was begging them to come to the province in hopes to see me. Unfortunately, I was not there, which is probably why they didn't go. I was told it was because my dad was tired of traveling, but the reasoning didn't match with how severe the situation was. I may have missed a few details, but I am in a lot of distress.